Thank you for taking time to learn more about the proposed changes to the Esplanade and Mill Street. The city has been studying ways to improve these streets, and we want your feedback on the proposals by March 14th. This project is built on a foundation of City Council approved policies, including the city's official plan, the Vision Zero Road Safety Plan, and Transform TO. The city's cycling network plan includes the Esplanade and Mill Street as an important east-west connection in the downtown for local residents and businesses, and would help people cycling to other routes in the network. The project goals are to improve safety for everyone, make walking, cycling, and taking transit more attractive, and maintain access to local and citywide destinations. Here are some of the project's context and considerations. Toronto has seen an increase in walking, cycling, and transit mode share and a decrease in people driving. In this neighborhood, the majority of trips are completed by foot, bike, and transit. In addition to the vibrant heritage of both the St. Lawrence and Distillery District neighborhoods, these neighborhoods are growing rapidly, with many thousands of units under construction or planned. By building a bikeway before many of these new buildings are finished, cycling would become an easy mode choice for many. There have been over 340 reported collisions along the corridor between 2015 and 2019. 10% have involved someone walking or cycling, and 1% led to serious injury or death. The Esplanade and Mill Street are busy year-round with people walking. Near Yonge Street, people move to and from Union Station. The Esplanade carries many visitors to the St. Lawrence Market. The Distillery District is always busy and becomes a regional destination during its annual Christmas market. Some people cycle on the Esplanade and Mill Street alongside traffic, but the number of cars traveling on these roads today exceeds the city's threshold for people cycling and driving to mix. Some people choose instead to cycle on the pedestrian promenade in David Crombie Park, which creates uncomfortable conditions for people both walking and cycling. Many people are using the Esplanade and other local streets to bypass Front Street and are not bound for destinations in the area. This non-local traffic leads to congestion on the Esplanade and creates conflicts with people walking and cycling. In pre-COVID traffic conditions, the TTC 121 bus is sometimes delayed because of the non-local traffic. This bus is vital to residents and businesses, especially for local seniors. This project would help stitch together a series of parks, improve access to green spaces, and reduce traffic stress, noise, and pollution. The existing curbside uses you see here and several others have been analyzed and considered alongside the curbside uses of nearby streets and off-street lots. Which leads us to what is being proposed. Physically separated bike lanes, also known as cycle tracks, are proposed to be added to both the Esplanade and Mill Street. For both streets, bidirectional cycle tracks are proposed. Bidirectional cycle tracks allow cycling in both directions on one side of the road. They're attractive to a wide range of people of all ages and skill levels. They would connect to other bidirectional trails to the east and would encourage people to use the cycling facilities instead of the promenade. Let's focus first on the Esplanade. A new bidirectional cycle track would be added to the south side of the Esplanade. With the remaining roadway space, some blocks are dedicated to TTC only, others are converted to one-ways, and some are maintained as two-way for vehicles. Curbside access would be maintained on 2 blocks. Each block is considered separately to account for the local context. When put together, the use of the Esplanade as a shortcut or bypass to major roads is restricted. The speed limit would be reduced from 40 to 30 kilometers an hour. The proposed changes would reduce vehicle traffic near schools and facilitate TTC bus movements within a narrowed street. It would also preserve access for emergency vehicles and to one of the city's largest parking garages. Otherwise, intersecting streets would not change. Access to the neighborhood by vehicle would be maintained via Front, Yonge, Sherbourne, and Jarvis streets, depending on the block. Parliament Square Park connects the Esplanade and Mill Street. With the number of people walking and cycling, the existing park path is too narrow, so a dedicated bikeway is proposed through the parking lot just to the north of the park. And now on to Mill Street. A new south side bidirectional cycle track would be added along the whole of the Mill Street corridor and one block on Bayview Avenue up to Front Street. Some blocks would be converted to one-way to free up space for bidirectional cycle tracks and to allow for continued TTC bus operations. Curbside parking and loading would be accommodated on one side of the street. This rendering of the Mill-Cherry intersection shows the proposed cycling turn cue boxes, paint, and new signals. Other proposed changes. These are the TTC routes today. In the new configuration, the eastbound 121 would turn on Church Street, not Scott Street, and on Princess Street, not Berkeley. It would continue on Front Street and up to Bridgepoint Hospital before returning on Mill Street westbound. Bus stop locations would also be moved to improve the speed and reliability of these routes. Permit parking areas 6H, 6K, and 6N serve this area of the city. With the proposed changes, areas 6H and 6K would remain under capacity. Area 6N is at capacity today. This would be maintained by adding permit parking spaces to Front Street. Implementation. Phase 1 east of Lower Sherbourne Street is proposed to be installed toward the end of 2021 to maintain a cycling connection between the downtown and the waterfront during planned construction. Phase 2 is proposed to begin west of Sherbourne Street in 2022. This allows for the planned removal of the St. Lawrence Market tent. For most of the corridor, road-level bidirectional cycle tracks with concrete curbs, paint, and new signal timing is proposed to be implemented over the next 2 years. Phase 3, as early as 2024, could include raised cycle tracks along David Crombie Park, raised cycle and pedestrian crossings at minor park intersections, permanent raised TTC stops, and potential for protected intersections. Have questions? Please visit the project website for more information. A public feedback survey can be accessed at toronto.ca/Esplanade Mill. The comment period will close on March 14th. Staff will report to Toronto City Council for approval in May and June 2021.